working towards is basically the development of a natural gas utility in the South Bruce community. So really the front end work is coming up with the application that will be put into the Ontario Energy Board for that approval. And then once that's done and that's approved, then it will actually be construction and operation of that gas utility into the local area.
And the beauty is that you're footing the whole bill.
Yes, we are. Yes, we'll be developing all the infrastructure requirements and financing that.
Any idea on the cost?
Well, the ranges, I mean, it's very preliminary at this point, but our initial costs are somewhere in probably $100 million to $120 million of infrastructure that's going to be required.
And you talked about one of the first steps is getting public meetings going with the various communities.
Yes, and really there's a number of purposes there. So number one, to explain what's going to happen. It's also a requirement as part of the environmental impact assessment process, so what the construction is going to be, and then also explaining how the utility will work and how people can hook up to this, and you know, some information on the costs that are going to be associated with that as we go forward.
And what were those dates again?
I think the town, I think they're finalizing, I think it's October 15th, 16th time frame, so we're starting to work on those.
Can you tell me what you're going to be doing today? Get the lay of the land. What is going to happen today?
Well, today we were just notified last week that we've been awarded that. So one of the things we're doing the next couple of days is actually taking a bit of a tour with the mayors, just to see what's in the area and starting to talk to people about it. We also have some meetings set up as of tomorrow with some consultants who are going to start working on the environmental impact assessment in the area.
What about a timeline?
Well, the hope is to get started here right away. We're looking at probably 6 to 8 months to get the application into the Ontario Energy Board. The biggest time frame in that is the environmental impact assessment, so that's quite detailed, looking at kind of routes and where the pipe's going to go and so forth. And then it probably takes 4 to 6 months for the Ontario Energy Board then to approve that. And once you get approval, then you can start construction almost right away.
So can you explain this conversion stuff? Like you're fronting the 100 to 120 million.
Yes.
You're obviously going to want to recoup that money back. So how are you going to do that?
Well, that'll be recovered through the rates, okay, that are charged for the natural gas. So that's the infrastructure. The second component, though, is there is a cost for homeowners to convert to natural gas, and we don't finance. I mean, we don't do that part. That's up to the homeowners. What we're looking for, as was discussed today, is using some of the government money that you set aside to expand natural gas services in Ontario, and focusing that money on that. We think that money is best used for the consumer, and not really to the large companies that are building this. And so that money can be helped used to reduce some of those conversion costs. And the goal is to try to get down the cost of conversion so you get a payback within 2 years. So whatever money you spend, you're going to pay that back in 2 years, and then from then on you're going to have savings on a go-forward basis.
There's no guarantee you're going to get one of those government grants, though, correct?
No, but I think that, I mean, this is one of the largest areas that's unserved by natural gas. That money was set aside specifically for servicing of natural gas. I think as explained by the mayors, they've been in contact with provincial government on this, and that's going to be a key component. But it is for the conversion. So the actual supply of natural gas and the costs associated with the supply of natural gas is not dependent on those grants.
I was going to mention, if you didn't get any provincial money for some unknown reason, would EPCOR continue to follow this infrastructure natural gas?
We would, as long as at the end of the day, I guess, when we start talking to some of the industry and local residential users, that we thought that conversion was going to be there enough. I mean, you cannot build a system if nobody's going to hook up to it. But we do believe, actually, on the industrial side, there's significant savings for industry. They've been actually driving this. So if you look at the business case that was done there, and so really, if you get a number of the large industrial ones in there, they almost use enough gas to make that whole system affordable.
This is also a real opportunity for EPCOR for too, isn't it, to break into the Ontario market?
Yes, yes. We've been looking at the Ontario market for years. We see, it's the largest population market in Canada. We're a Canadian utility company, and so we see this as a real opportunity on a go-forward basis.